Hey everyone, it's EriMin here. And it's been a long time. I guess it's November now, and the last time I uploaded a video must have been January of this year. A lot has happened. I guess things really started in October of last year. My pup passed away very suddenly, and everything just sort of went downhill from there. I spent some time away. I went to Okinawa for a week or so, and I had been feeling really homesick, and I'm like, well, Okinawa was the most I could afford to fly to that felt the most like home. So I went down there, had a nice time, and then I came back. And in December of 2022, I went to an omiai. An omiai is a matchmaking party. Now, there are different levels of formality and things like that. This was a rather informal event. So there were 4 men and 5 women, and it was a group omiai. So there was no one-on-one per se. You weren't like sequestered with one person each time. It's not like speed dating. So it was like a group date with a bunch of people you didn't know. And it was really nice. It was all in Japanese, which was, of course, challenging, scary. But we had snacks, and there was a magic show, and we did like a little introduction of ourselves. And you use aliases, so nobody knew your name. You're not supposed to give out like a lot of personal information, but you ask questions and answer questions like, what's your hobby? What do you want to do going forward with your life? Like, what are your fetches? Which is like, what do you find attractive about the opposite gender? And so I matched with a man there, and we immediately started going on dates. Now, I want you guys to understand that this omiai are for serious dating with the intent of getting married. People who go to these are going there for that. They're not going there to find a boyfriend. They're not going there to find a girlfriend. This is not your 20-something speed dating stuff. It's very serious in that it's meant for people who are looking for a life partner. And so we started dating immediately. After we matched, the matchmaker put us in touch, and we started communicating via text message, and we went out on our first date, I think a week and a half later. The beginning of the year was quite busy for him, and so I think it took about a week or two before we could go on our first date. And we really hit it off, like really hit it off. And we dated very, I don't know how you want to say it, seriously, very heavily. Like, we went on dates once or twice a week. He worked near where I live. He works near where I live. And so we would go to dinner together after he was off of work, and we would go on little weekend holidays, day trips, things like that. And we dated very, very intensely until about April. And at that point, we decided, it was even before April, I think we decided in March that we wanted to move in together and see if this was going to work. Again, I know probably from a Western perspective that might seem a little bit much, but I'm a grown-ass adult. I am almost 36 years old. I have dated since I was in my teens, and I think I have a pretty good idea of what I want. I've been through most of life's milestones. I have bought a house, sold a house. I have bought my cars and sold my cars. I have done life insurance, and I have buried both of my parents. I have buried all of my grandparents. And so I'm not like up in the air. I don't know what I want going forward. I have a very clear view of what I want for the rest of my life, kind of. And so we sat down and we really had to talk about like what we want going forward with each other, with our own lives, and with a life together. And so we were like, okay, well, we're going to move in together. I actually thought moving in together was a little weird. I don't know. It felt, I think because I still have some lingering like trauma to work through from that deep South upbringing, the idea of living together with my boyfriend was a bit odd. But we moved in together, and definitely had some growing pains on that. About a month later, we started sharing finances equitably, not evenly, because he makes a good bit more money than I do. So we split things equitably, kind of percentage based. And we've been doing money and checking, and it's like, okay, you know, we make enough. Actually, he makes enough, honestly, for me to stay at home if I wanted to. And then in June, he proposed. We went to Tokyo Disneyland and he proposed right in front of the castle, and it was really great. And then we got started on what we were going to do next. You know, we decided that for the visa's sake, we would go ahead and get married legally. So go down to City Hall and do all the paperwork, and we did that in August. And yeah, so I am officially married, legally married in Japan and by American law, which that was a bunch of nonsense. All right, so if you're an American and you want to marry a Japanese national, you have to go to the nearest embassy and get a form signed that says, notarized, that says you are legally able to be married, basically saying that you're not married in your home country. And it was so inconvenient. So I live in central Japan. The next closest embassies that do that paperwork are either Tokyo or Osaka. And I was like, well, I'll go to Osaka. I have been craving burritos. I know that's a ridiculous reason to choose a location, but one, Osaka was cheaper, it's closer. But two, a person I met on Twitter was like, I know a great burrito place, you should go, blah, blah, blah. And so I just I found a cheap hotel room and went to Osaka. Anyways, so I got my little paper notarized and we went to the city hall where his family is registered, and we got married. His mom came with us. It was very great. The night before, we had a big family engagement party, I guess you would say. And so then we got married, and then we started processing the paperwork for the change from working visa to spouse visa. During this time, I got COVID for a third time. And I haven't recovered. I don't have the energy or the stamina that I used to have. During all of this, I'm working full time. I'm not now, but I was working full time at that point. And it was just the company I was working for. Like I started with that company because the manager who interviewed me was freaking amazing and I loved him, and he got stuff done, and then he quit 2 weeks, April, May, June. He quit 2 months after I started, and literally everything fell apart. The company had not trained anyone to replace him, and in fact they did not replace him. They just sort of left the young lady who is the next senior most member of the foreign teacher staff kind of in charge of us, and that didn't go well. And oh my lord, it was just a nightmare. Anyways, so through all of that, I have begun planning our wedding. Now, originally, we were going to just do an American wedding, a Western style wedding in America, and come back to Japan and do a photo wedding. A photo wedding is basically exactly what it sounds like. You get dressed up and in the traditional wedding clothing, the shiromuku and the monsuki for the men, and you go take photos as though it's your wedding. Because we priced out a wedding here in Japan, and it was just more background. I want a reception. I want a reception with cake and food and music and fun. I'm not particularly bothered about the ceremony all that much, but for me, I want the reception. It doesn't have to be the best thing in the world, but like we were trying to price out just like a reception and maybe just like a simple Western style ceremony. $20,000. $20,000 for the reception only. And we were only looking at inviting like 15 or 20 people. And I was just like, it was excellent timing, because during this time I had started watching Disney Plus and I saw Disney's fairy tale weddings. And I was like, for the price of just the reception, I could have a Disney fairy tale wedding. And that started a cascade of events where I got online and started researching how much they cost, and I found out that you could do cruise weddings. And I was thinking, I'm like, okay, well, a cruise wedding might actually be really good, because it eliminates a lot of the variables between having people from multiple countries coming to the wedding, right? You fly into the airport, you take a taxi to the port, get on the ship. Nobody needs rental cars. You don't have to worry about international license for the Japanese folks who would be coming. You don't have to worry about like getting them accommodations and worrying about the language barrier and stuff like that. And so in the end, I decided that I was going to do a Disney fairy tale wedding on the Disney Wonder out of San Diego. Yes, San Diego. And so I got the ball rolling, and now that's where I'm having my wedding. So on top of all of that drama, if you saw the video I recently uploaded where I was having a little bit of a breakdown, the RSVP date for my American wedding passed on November 7th, November 8th, and none of the members of my mother's family contacted me, RSVP'd yes or RSVP'd no, nothing. My biological father and his sister are coming. My two best friends from college are coming. My best friend and her two children, but they live in Japan, are coming. I am actually not the only foreigner married into this family. There is another foreigner, a man who lives in Los Angeles. And so he and his son, so I guess they are my husband's cousins, are coming. And so I was really kind of devastated. I see now that like my grandmother was the only thing keeping them like even remotely in touch with us. And you know, it really hurt my feelings. But you know, I have to get my wedding planning kit back to my Disney wedding coordinator in the next few days. And I think I'm going to bring you guys along for that to let you see how do you plan a Disney fairy tale cruise wedding. But yeah, so I will start uploading videos more often. The content may be a little different. They're all going to be Japan based or wedding going forward right now. But I think that I'm going to try to start uploading at least once a month, and then if I can work my way up to twice a month, that would be great. I'm very sorry for the long absence. I have been posting on other social media like Insta and Twitter, and I do have a TikTok, but TikTok has absolutely nothing to do with anything. That is mostly drunk Erica in the bathtub having existential thoughts or showing you just little random snippets. But you can look forward to my wedding planning video that will be coming up in the next few weeks. But other than that, if you have any questions, you guys can find me over on Twitter at EriMin Adventure, no S. And I'm on Instagram at Sifa86, which is SIFFA 86. I tried to change my name on Instagram, but they wouldn't let me, and I was like, I don't want to start a whole new Insta. Because that's the Instagram that I've had since I was like, I don't know, since 2016, 15, maybe 2014. So yeah. I also have TikTok at EriMin Adventures, EriMinAdventures. So yeah, so if you have questions, you guys can definitely contact me on there. Leave questions or comments in the box below. If you have any requests for stuff, no, I can't do the Ghibli Park. I tried. I entered the special lottery for people who live in Aichi, didn't win. I entered the open lottery and didn't win. So like, I ain't got tickets to the Ghibli Park. Go see, what's his name? TDR Explorer. I know he got tickets and he'll be doing a video. He hasn't gone yet, but like you can see videos up on other people's pages. I'm not gonna have that. I just, maybe I'll do some USJ content. I really want to go to USJ for Christmas. I'd love to go to Tokyo Disneyland for Christmas, but Tokyo Disneyland is a wreck right now. It is under serious construction, and I think like Space Mountain is going to be shut down for 6 months or more for a refurb, and it is just not, I don't want to spend all the money to go to Tokyo and go to Tokyo Disney. Although Tokyo Disney is much, I'm rambling, sorry, long form content. Anyways, check back here, have your notifications on, or don't, you know. I'm glad when you guys watch videos. I couldn't believe how many of you watched the one I just posted about, like, when I had my little breakdown on TikTok about my mom's family not coming to my wedding. And thank you so much for the kind comments. Like, a few of you commented on that, and like it made me feel a lot better. I'm like, why are strangers on the internet nicer to me than my family? Anyways, I'll talk to you guys again later. Bye-bye.